Marki Osir Rav Dimi. Let's see here. Place myself. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niheh b'dvarei. Amen. It's really 7 lines from the bottom. Oh, Natan is here. Yes. We got Natan here. 8:40. Ki Osir Rav Dimi. We're up to Kuf Amud Aleph. Daf Kuf Amud Aleph. Ki Osir Rav Dimi. By the way, Rav Dimi. It always says Rav Dimi. The name Rav Dimi is always mentioned in the context of Ki Osa. He's always traveling. He was the WhatsApp, the old school WhatsApp that was traveling between Eretz Yisrael and Bavel. You know, bringing messages from Rabbi Yochanan, and he would bring all the members. So over here he says, "K'asir Rav Dimi Omar, Asir Hakadosh Baruch Hu litin l'chol tzadik v'tzadik maloi oimsai." Hashem is going to give every tzaddik a handful of brachas. Shenemar Baruch Hashem Yoim Yoim Yamos Lanu Hukel Yeshua Seinu Sela. Hashem, who is blessed every single day, we bless him. Yamos Lanu, he will load us up with toivus the size of his hand. Hakel Yeshua Seinu Sela. Amalei Abai said, "Wow." He took it literally. Could you say Hashem is going to give us a handful of blessing? Could you measure Hashem's hand? If you want to measure his fist, you need all the oceans in the world to measure his fist. If you want to measure his pinky, you need the entire Shemayim, right? All of the skies. So the Gemara says you cannot hold so much schar. So how are you going to receive all that schar? The tzaddik is going to receive a handful of Hashem's schar. My time of the Shchichet Ba'Gadata. So Rav Dimi said, why don't you come to the Daf Yomi and Perek Chelik more often? In other words, you show up here and there. My time of the Shchichet Ba'Gadata. Damri b'may Rava, Mishmei de Rava bar Mori, because they said in Ma'irav, in Eretz Yisrael, Asr HaKadosh Baruch Hu, means that Ma'irav is always Eretz Yisrael. Hashem is going to give each tzaddik 310 worlds. Shenemar lahanchel oivei yesh v'oitzresei mamale yesh b'gematria tlas meya v'asara havi. It's 310. So what do you see from there? So you see that they'll have 310 worlds to receive all that blessing from Hashem. You're asking how they're going to hold the handful of blessing from Hashem. They're going to have 310 worlds to be able to store all of that blessing. So you should have been by Gadata to learn that, and you wouldn't have the kasha. Lamaisa, we finish Shas, the end of Masechtas Uktzin. There's a Mishnah. It's literally a Mishnah that ends with this statement. Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Osir HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahanchel tzaddik v'tzadik shlosh meyes v'asara olamis, which means that Abaya didn't know a Mishnah. Rav Dimi, he asks Rav Dimi, how is each tzaddik going to hold a handful of blessing of Hashem? Hashem's handful of blessing is enormous. How are they going to hold it? How are they going to contain it? So he says, weren't you by Agadata? It's Agadata, it's a Mishnah. Abaya has to know Mishnah. Abaya is an Amoira. They ask, how did he not know a Mishnah? And the answer they say is that actually it's not a Mishnah either. The Shas, Shisha Sidorim, when a person learns Shas, they end with this memra. They put it into the Mishnayos because it's Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Yeshua ben Levi wasn't even a Tana. It was an Amoira. Right? So they put it at the end to end off Shas with the statement that every tzaddik has 310 oilam as the reward for tzaddikim. So keep learning, keep doing mitzvahs. That was the chizuk they ended Shas with, but it's actually not a Mishnah. What's the significance of 310? Why does every tzaddik have 310 worlds? What's the significance of 310? So we have a couple of pshatim. Toras Chaim says 310 is the half of 720. 620 is keser, a crown. Kuf Taf Reish is 620, it's a keser crown. There are 620 words in the Aseres HaDibros. Yeah? Why? Because it's 613, the mitzvahs that we have, all the mitzvahs are included in the Aseres HaDibros, plus the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach, so 613 plus 7 is 620. Originally Hashem created man, he created Zachar and Nekeva V'roim, right? We were like Zachar and Nekeva together. And then Hashem separated us. So you have a Zachar is 310 and a Nekeva is 310. Yeah? A person together with his wife, together with a Nekeva, they receive actually 620 oilamis, which is the amount of mitzvahs we have in 613 plus 7. Another pshat that the Tosfos Yom Tov gives at the end of Masechtas Uktzim. Tosfos Yontif says, why is it 310? Why is it shlosh meis v'asara oilamis? Tosfos Yontif says, you know why? Because we know that when we conquered Eretz Yisrael, very interesting pshat. Good evening, doctor. Very interesting pshat. When we conquered Eretz Yisrael, how many nations did we conquer when we went into Eretz Yisrael? Yeah? How many nations were there that we conquered? How many nations? 7. Right. 7. How many nations are there? 70. So it's only a tenth of what there actually is. In other words, when we first went into Eretz Yisrael, it was a tenth. 7 out of 70 that we conquered. How many Malachim did those 7 nations have that we conquered? That was 31. 31 Malachim. So if in terms, altogether, so all different provinces, different what? So if the countries of the world was a tenth of what's going to be La'asid Lavai, right? So how many Malachim is going to be La'asid Lavai that we're going to conquer? If it's 31 when we went to Eretz Yisrael, 310. So that's the remez that La'asid Lavai will be Yairish 10 times more than what we got when we first inherited Eretz Yisrael. That's why he says.
They're in the UN.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Right. Relevant nations or irrelevant nations? Relevant nations only.
There's -1.
-1 relevant nation. Okay, doctor is saying that. Right. He says that's why the pasuk is lahanchil oyeveyesh. It's an inheritance. It's part of the inheritance that we're going to receive. Tzaddikim are going to receive 10 times the amount they were kovish when they went into Eretz Yisrael. That's the number 310. Okay, there are more pshatim, but I can put them here as 2. So the Gemara weiter.
My area code to that.
What?
It's the area code.
310. There you go. Oh gosh, I got 213, 213. Anybody out there got 610? 620. Tanya, Meir says, B'mida, doctor, we're up to 3 lines in the bottom of Daf Kuf Amud Aleph. We just started a couple minutes ago. Tanya, the same measurement a person uses when he does a mitzvah, that's the measurement that Hashem is going to use when he rewards him for that mitzvah. With the measurement that you did the Aveira with, B'shalcha terivena. Hashem is going to pay you back with that exact same measurement. Is it possible to say that? A person gives a handful of tzedakah to an ani in this world. You think Hashem is going to be able to give him back a handful of blessing in Olam Haba? That a pinky of Hashem, you need all of the shamayim to measure that pinky. How is he going to be able to receive so much schar? Meir said to Rabbi Yeshua, and you don't hold like that? Hey, which measurement is greater? Which is much greater. It says when he left Mitzrayim 40 years in the Midbar, Hashem opened the doors, Dalsei Shemayim Pasach. Yeah? Shaharei Shamayim Pesach V'Hitzarcho. Right? It's coming from this pasuk. The pasuk says that in the Midbar, Hashem opened all the doors of heaven and rained upon us man. Of midas Peranius who Varibois or Aimer, what does it say? Midas Peranius Varubois Shamayim Niftachu. By the Mabul it says the windows of the skies were opened. So what's bigger? A door or a window? A door is much bigger. So you see, Midah Tov is Maruba, because when it comes to Bracha, Hashem says, I'll open the doors of heaven. And when it comes to Kalala, it says, I open the windows by the Mabul. So Midah Tov is much greater. So if Midah Tov is greater, so let's go back to Midah Peranius for a moment. The Midah Peranius, it says, when it's going to be the last war, the Yatsu, all the Goyim are going to come out, V'ro, and they're going to see, the nations of the world are going to see that the entire army of Gog and Magog are lying dead. Why? Because the worms who are going to consume their flesh won't die. The Isham and the fire that's going to burn their bodies won't finish. It won't end. In other words, the flesh on the bodies of the army of Gog and Magog won't be consumed. It'll stay there. It'll be fire and tailam eating from it and still be there. And it'll be a shame for anyone who sees them. And if a person puts his finger in a fire in this world, he gets burnt right away. So how could it be that the bodies of Gog and Magog are not going to be burnt? They're still going to be, the flesh is still going to be there for everybody to see for a prolonged period. Just like Hashem gives energy, gives the koyach for a rasha to be able to receive his punishment, even if it's against nature, so kal v'chaimer, the taiv is much greater. If Hashem gives a rasha the koyach to receive that type of punishment, even if it goes against nature, so kal v'chaimer, he's going to give it a tzaddik koyach to receive the punishment. A person who reads b'sfarim hachitzonim. So the Gemara says, what are sfarim chitzonim? Tana, b'sifrei tzedaikim. Anyone who is an atheist, if you read books of atheists, you should know that, what does that mean? It means that they take mamorei, they take psukim and Tanakh, and they don't use Chazal to interpret the psukim. They use their own stuff, their own background, with their own minus, their own atheism, like whatever their sources are. It's not Chazal. That's Sefer Tzedaikim. Rav Yosef. That's right. Yeah. Mamash Hazoi. Wow. Yeah. So he has Sefer Tzedaikim. Oh, Reb Shol. Let's get you a Gemara. So the Gemara says, what are Sefarim Achitzonim? So the Gemara says, the Brisa learns Sefarim Achitzonim Sefer Tzedaikim. Rav Yosef Omar, Rav Yosef says, B'Sefer Ben Sira, Nami Osir L'Mikrei. Sefer Ben Sira is also Osir to learn. Now the Gemara says, Ben Sira. Very interesting. We'll stop here for a moment to explain who Ben Sira was. Very, very interesting background to Ben Sira. And I'm reading to you from Even Ezer Shulchan Aruch, Siman Aleph, period Verivia, Chelkas Mechaykik. The Chelkas Mechaykik is going in a Ramah. The Ramah says that if a person has a son who's a mamzer, is he Mekayim Mitzvah's period Verivia with a son who's a mamzer? A mamzer. In order to Mekayim Mitzvah's period Verivia, you need a boy and a girl, right? So what if a person has one of his boys a mamzer? Could you fulfill the mitzvah of period Verivia with a mamzer? So the Ramah says, Ho yahaben mamzer, or cheresh, or shoyte, kiyam ha-mitzvah. You're mekayim the mitzvah period Verivia even with a mamzer. Okay, so mitzvah babavera is not our sugya, it's not our topic right now. But the Gemara says, yesh lehistapik. The Chalkas B'chokik brings, what about a woman that, and this could be very relevant to IVF, what if the process of impregnating the woman wasn't natural? And in the olden days, there was no IVF, right? So what you had? You had a woman, a case of ambatya, where a woman is in a bath, and she gets pregnant from the zera, it was zera in the bath from some man. It goes into her, and that's what impregnates her. So is the man Mekayim Mitzvah's period Verivia in such a oifen? Oh boy. So that is what he discusses. Is it a mamzer? Not a mamzer. No, it's in an unnatural way. It's an unnatural. It's an unnatural.
There's another Gemara that says if it doesn't.
Mamzer, it has to be.
It's not.
Has to be. Mamzer has to be.
Say what?
It doesn't go like an arrow. She can't get pregnant.
Mamzer.
Aha. Interesting.
Mamzer צריך להיות.
That's the first beer.
ממזר צריך להיות שפופרת, מכחול בתוך שפופרת.
What does that mean?
חייבים להיות ביחד.
That's a big machlokes. He's going to bring the Taisvus in Kedushin. For sure, the Taisvus in Kedushin, Zera Ein Lo. Extra plus. This is a Chelkus Mechaykik, right?
Yeah. Really? Very interesting.
יש בגמרא, אני חושב שראיתי את זה בנידה. לא, ראינו את זה לא מזמן, ראינו את זה. זוכר את זה, רק ההתרה, אתה זוכר את זה?
The camera's rolling. I'm tempted to say, yeah, I remember it. Absolutely, I remember it. It's Mafur Shigamar Nida Yud Gimel. Yeah.
האם זה נחשב, לא נחשב, האם זה נחשב, לא נחשב, צריך. בקיצר זה...
You edit it later, yeah?
Believe.
Yeah, very good. Anyway, yeah. So let me tell you what he says. I tell you what he says. Lekutei Maharil Nimtza. Chevra, Lekutei Maharil, it's found that Ben Sira, Haya Benoy Shel Yirmiyah Anavi, the son Sherachad Ambatya, Yirmiyah took a bath, and the Zera, I guess, somehow Zera was left in the bath, a woman went in, and the Zera went into her, and he says, Sira begematria Yirmiyahu. Ben Sira, they use Sira to hide Yirmiyahu's identity. But Sira is begematria Yirmiyahu, and he was the son of Yirmiyahu HaNavi. And here's what he quotes, it's unbelievable. He quotes one of the greatest Mekubalim to live in the times of the Arizal. And he quotes him in a sefer, Avodas HaKodesh, L'Rav Ishra Leki, Marinu Rabbi Moshe Kardivurai, the Ramak, the Tomer Dvaira. And he says like this, V'zel Shainai, in the Sefer Yetzirah, we know Sefer Yetzirah was written by Avraham Avinu, Mizman Avraham Avinu. Some say Adam Arishan. Yeah. Nimta, over there it says, that Yirmiyahu HaNavi was learning Sefer Yetzirah. Okay? And Rabbi Yonah misasik b'Sefer Yetzirah beinoy lebein atzmai yatzas abaskoil va'amra kinei lecha chaver. Don't learn it yourself. You have to learn it with somebody else. Halach etzel Sira b'noi. He went to his son Sira. And v'nes asku b'Sefer Yetzirah shloisha shanim l'kayim hakasav as did b'yirei Hashem. Chalkas mechoykik, the Ramak, major Mekubalim, held that Ben Sira was the son of Yirmiyahu HaNavi, who got pregnant from, his wife got pregnant from Ambatya. And this is what the thought-provoking brings la halacha when he discusses the shaila whether you're Mekayim period of Arivya through Ambatya. Now, here the Gemara says, Osir lemikri. It's osir to learn, and if somebody learns Ben Sira, he's ein lechelik l'olam haba. Now listen to Rashi in Erevin, and I will get straight weiter to the daf. But this Rashi is unbelievable. Samach Dal Ramad Beis. The Gemara says there's a memra of Rav. Rav says that somebody. Where's the Rashi here?
He always grew up learning that he's going to come and he's going to make this declaration. But it's really it's a medieval situation.
No. Oh, yeah, right here. It's Samachay. I looked at the wrong daf. It says like this. The Gemara says that if Rav says if somebody is betzar, he shouldn't daven. He shouldn't daven. He can't concentrate. He shouldn't daven. Shnemar batzar al yoyra. Because she'ain daitim yeshevas al yispal. Shnemar batzar al yoyra. So Rashi says, an amazing Rashi, Samachay and Erevin, if you want to look at it inside. Badakti achara mikra. I checked in all of Chumash, all of Tanakh. I checked everywhere for this pasuk. Ve'enoi b'chol aksuvim. I can't find this pasuk. V'shema, this is not a pasuk. Rashi says, Beruach Katshe. Rashi says, V'shema b'sefer ben Sirahu. You know where this is from? This is in Sefer ben Sira. Says Tosfos. Oh, right over there. Piers bekunters, badakti achamikra ze ve'enu b'chol aksuvim. V'shema b'sefer ben Sira. Metin mekama b'kaimis. Shemevi hashas. Tosfos quotes a whole list in Shas where Amiroim and Tanoim quote the Sefer Ben Sira. They quote Ben Sira, right? And Gilyon Hashas Rebbe Akiva Eger on the side says Rashi. Tosfos is missing some places. He gives a whole list of places. So the kasha becomes like Rav Shaul is asking, what do you mean? How could you? By the way, you know they found Ben Sira. They found the Hebrew edition of Ben Sira, thousands of years old, in one of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's Ben Sira. Yeah. They found it in Matzada, they found it in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they found it in the Cairo Gniza in the 1800s. There was somebody, a Schechter, and he also found that back in the 1800s, Ben Sira was a very influential sefer. It was learned by Tanam and Amoraim. So how could it be that the Gemara here says somebody learns Ben Sira? Akiva says somebody learns Ben Sira. That's for Mechitzonim. Rashi says Rav's member comes from Ben Sira. Tosfos says a whole list of places in Shas where you quote Ben Sira. Gilyon Hashas adds on it. So how could it be? So I'll tell you, very, very interesting. And this could be a Pesach. I bought this sefer a long time ago. I don't know why I bought it. I opened it up. It was very interesting to me. And now I know why I bought it. Tonight, this is the night. I'm finally getting my value. This sefer is called Yesoid HaMishnah V'Arichasa from Harav Reuven Margolis. Reuven Margolis was, I think, was chief rabbi of Tel Aviv at one point, many years ago in the 50s, 60s. early, maybe even earlier than that, but he was a huge baki in Shas. He wrote a sefer Magolias Hayam on Sanhedrin. He wrote other svarim. One of the svarim he wrote is Yisoid HaMishnah Varichasa, and he deals with this question in the very first page of his sefer. And he says, unbelievable. He says like this: when they ended the Bayis Rishon period, there were a lot of Megillas, a lot of scrolls, and there was a question what to include in Ksuvim, what should be included in a Sifrei HaKodesh. And there was an argument. There could have been, it was a gray area, what should be included. We have Shir HaShirim, we have Megillah Seicha, we have all these Megillas. So some would have included Ben Sira. So Rebbe Akiva came out, Chazak, he said, no, you can't include in the Kisvei HaKodesh Ben Sira. Don't read it. It's Sfarim Chitzayim. Sfarim Chitzayim doesn't mean it's also to read. It means like when the Gemara closed, let's say Mishnayos. So what do? With the other namers that didn't go into the Mishnah, what do they call it? Brisa. Called it an outside Mishnah. So any Sfarim that didn't make it into the Kisvei HaKodesh, what was that called? Sfarim Chitzayim. It's not Sfarim Chitzayim. And the reason why I said Ein Chilek Lo Mabah is because, why is it Ein Chilek Lo Mabah? Because they were mamish makpid. Don't include it in the Kisvei HaKodesh. They had to come down hard on people. So he says, that's the pshat, and that was only at the time when there could have been a chashash to include it, to be moisef in Kisvei HaKodesh. But much later, when there was no more chashash, avada, the times of Rav later on.
See, that statement was a little misleading.
Yeah, why?
Because it's in the same Mishnah where it talks about these malachim, these agyotos, don't have the chel bar. So you say it in that context, you get a little scared.
100%. Yeah, I agree with the ha'ara. But the thing is, the Mishnah doesn't say what Sfarim HaChitzayim are. It's a big machloikas. So he's explaining this pshat in Sfarim HaChitzayim. And according to this pshat, you'd have to say it's taka why it's only lizman, like you're saying. It's not forever. This is according to this pshat. It's only lizman for that time period when they wanted to make clear-cut distinction between Kisvei HaKodesh and the other Sfarim. That's when they said that you shouldn't learn it. Okay, but either way, Rav Yosef Amar B'Sefer Sir Nami Osa L'Mikri Amalei Abai My Timer. See, Abaye is asking Rav Yosef, why should it even be Osa to read Ben Sira? Ben Sira is filled with wisdom. It's filled with wisdom.
A lot of Musa, a lot of Chochma.
A lot of Chochma, a lot of Musar. Ilay Mishin Dechsev Bei Loi Tintosh Gildono. The Gemara is going to go through a bunch of different Mamorim, sayings of Ben Sira, and try to figure out if there's anything wrong with anything he said. Don't skin the skin of a fish, on top of his ear, so you shouldn't lose it, because that kind of oil goes easily le'ibud, right? And Chazal and Ben Sira he's giving you good advice. He didn't want you to lose that skin above the fish's ear, bechinam. Elo, what should you do? How should you use it? It's a good Reader Digest tip, you know what I mean? Like Tzlei Yisyase Benura. Make sure you roast the fish together with the skin. Ve'echel beit tartin gritzim, and you can eat the fish. It'll be enough to cover the fish with 2 chalas. You'll eat it with 2 chalas, and you'll get your money's worth. So the Gemara says on that, what's wrong with that memra? What's wrong with that saying? If you take it literally, the Torah also gives you such advice. Like Sashcha says, Eitzah, don't throw, don't waste. Right? Waste is a Torah prohibition also. So Ben Sira is telling you don't waste the skin on top of the top of the fish's ear. So that's nothing wrong with that advice. Imid Rasha, and if you're going to tell me he's being merames with a mashal to another piece of advice, maybe he's referring to don't do with the fish something which is not derech eretz. So don't be with your wife in a shaloi derech eretz dig away. That's also good advice.
That's good advice. That's Musa.
It must be because he gives advice. He says a daughter to a father is a wasted treasure. A wasted treasure. Wow. Why? Because what's the treasure? Even though a father could make a profit on his daughter, what kind of profit could a father make on his daughter? He could sell his daughter as an Amavriya, to Mekadesh her, and if he's Mekadesh's daughter, he gets Kedusha Kesef, he gets the money for the Kedushin, right? So he can mamish make money on her, but it's not worth the money. You know why? Because mi pachda lo yishen balayla. Because he's so nervous and worries over her, he's not going to be able to sleep at night. Bikatnusa, when she's young, he's worried shema tespata. Maybe people will seduce her, and she won't be mature enough to resist. Benarusa, and when she becomes a little more mature, when she's a teenager, shema tezana. Maybe she's going to be mezana. Bagra, and when she gets older, shema letinasei. Maybe she's going to be an older single. She's not going to get married. Hiskina. Old maid, yeah. Hiskina shematasik shafim. Maybe she will do kshafim.
Did we say that the father wants to?
First, you might have children, then we should.
Huh?
Nisei Shema lo yulabanim.
The father worries about his
Did we say
daughter
that
every
the daughter
stage
wants
of
to?
life.
You're right.
The father wants to keep the daughter
She might become a
because
witch.
the daughter helps the father. Don't we say that we're worried that the father might be greedy?
Yeah, we did say that.
Why are we just flipping the switches?
Yeah.
Why are
Right.
we just?
Yeah. Rav Chizda actually said, Rav Chizda only had daughters. Rav Chizda said that he prefers girls over boys. We had this a few times.
Sanhedrin, yeah, we had it.
We had it.
We had it in Bava Basra.
We had a Bava Basra.
Chasam
Zichru.
Sofer,
Yeah.
only
On
his
Yud Zayin.
and his
Rocky.
Gabba
Tezayin,
Gabba,
but Bakoni Koko.
His wife
Yeah. In the end of Shutman, yeah.
Tezayin, yeah.
told us by his Zaltzman.
Yeah.
And his guy was afraid. He's telling him now this is just girls, no boys.
Oh boy, yeah.
So he said,
Oh boy, no
I'll
pun
tell you."
intended.
He was very happy. He said, when it comes to girls, I can always choose my son-in-law.
That's what he said?
It's Chasam Sofer.
Very nice. Sons-in-law, sons, to raise sons or Talmidei Chachamim is harder than to choose somebody else who did the work.
Already did, right?
Yeah. Invested all the...
That's Bas Tchila Semiyah for Labanim.
Bas Tchila
That's
Semiyah
one of the
Labanim.
Pshatim. You
That
get
what?
son-in-laws that are Talmidei Chachamim. Why is it better to have a daughter?
Very nice. But over here, huh?
You need both.
You need both. You need both. Pros and cons to both.
No, because of pre-review.
Yeah, you need both.
You're supposed to have a girl
Yeah.
and a boy.
I heard Daniel saying, you need both. He's got a bunch of girls. Yeah, so... But either way, the Gemara says...
One sheet says you need 2 boys and 2 girls, right?
One, I think.
Something, but there's another sheet.
No, the Rambam. I think the Rambam says that you should have.
So if you're upset at Ben Sira for giving you a truth about a basla aviyah, how much worry and anxiety a father can have over a daughter, so it's mamel, it's not... Yeah, it's
Did
a...
we say that he wants to keep the daughter?
You want to get married.
But you want to keep her also for yourself. Don't we say that?
No, we said that if
scared
a
that the
father
father
does
might be
that...
selfish?
Yeah, that we did learn that in the daf a while back. Very good. Very good. We did have that in the daf a while back.
לא
But
שומעים לו. יש אבא
Yeah.
כזה, לא שומעים לו.
No, we don't, yeah.
משתנים אותה.
Right, no, the Gemara criticized the father like that. The Gemara said it's
לא שומעים
wrong.
לאבא הזה.
Yeah, but we say that the father still does that.
No, a bad father, not a good father. Yeah, not the right thing to do.
אנחנו לא שומעים לו, מחתנים אותה.
No, yeah, a good father worries. A good father wants his daughter to be successful and to have a family and to have children.
אבא משוגע. זה לא
Yeah.
The Chumash says so.
Chazak מאוד. Yeah. Harabana Nami Amrua. The Gemara says, what's wrong with Ben Sira's statement? Chachamim said the same thing. Iyaf shel oilam, like Natan said, below Yisachar below Nekevis. You can't have the world without both. You need both. But Ashrei mi shebanav Zacharim, but oiloi mi shebanav Nekevis. We said that. Remember, we said shebanav Nekevis. Oiloi mi shebanav, the sons are Nekevis. Okay, 2025. It's a deacon. It's deacon the Gemara. Somebody made a deacon over there. Yeah. Okay.
בדיוק, זה 1800 שנה.
ממש, דברי נבואה. אוי, לא למי שבונוב נקייבס.
Wait till you get the shvuah. It's gonna say if you make a shvuah that someone's a
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, wait.
Next member.
לוס אנג'לס.
אלא משם דכסיב לא ית...
זה פרמלי.
אלא משם דכסיב לא יתייל דביה בליבך. Don't fret. Don't be in pain over the Gaver Gibor and Katal Davia, because a lot of Giborim, a lot of strong men were killed because of tsar, because of pain, emotional pain. Marcel Shlomo also said this. The Oger belev ish yashchena.
מסיכנה.
Rabbi Rabbi Chadomer yashichena midaito. You should remove it from his das. Chadomer yisichena la'acherim. He should talk about it with other people. You should talk about it with other people.
Yeah, I take it out.
Yeah. I saw a pshat. Somebody says, maybe it's the Margolis Yam. I saw it. Where why is Sechenu Lacherim? It's unbelievable. He says an unbelievable pshat. He says, first of all, Avada. Today we live in a therapy generation, and we pay money. Yes, Sechenu Lacherim, to be able to, have a space to talk and unload our what? Cognitive CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. There's attachment theory. There's IFS. There's all kinds. I know all of it. But I've been to all the therapists. So the Maharal, I believe, says the reason is because sometimes the Midas Adin in Shemayim, they say a person has to have pain. He has to go through a sorrow. He has to have suffering. But if he shares it with other people, and other people hold a space and a place for that pain for him, it's not nigzer on them to have that pain. So as soon as you share the pain with other people, and people feel for you, now HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to press reset, because not everybody deserves that kind of pain that you're going through.
When they go to tzaddikim, tzaddik for sure doesn't
deserve it. That's why you go. That's right.
That's
right. That's why Sechenu Lacherim. That's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why Sechenu Lacherim, on a spiritual level, not just on an emotional level. So what else did Ben Sira say that may be questionable? And for that reason, Rav Yosef said you shouldn't read it. Maybe because it said, don't open your house to just any guy or any person without a need. Don't bring in everybody in your house. Rabbi also said this. The time Rabbi yeah. If you have a lot of friends, you're going to get into a fight with somebody. So don't have too many friends. Don't bring too many.
Where there was a guy who brought in a little bit, he was PTSD from the army.
Yeah.
And he brought him to his house and he killed him.
Mamish?
Mamish.
A guy, a Yid.
Yeah.
He's PTSD.
PTSD.
And he killed his host.
He killed his host.
Here in America?
This is
3 years ago.
Good friend of mine. It says that Avram Avinu had all 4 doors open.
Correct. Avram Avinu, yeah.
He didn't have the walls open. He only had the doors open. Doors were open.
Dangerous.
But the walls, he had walls.
The walls were closed.
But still, people, I learned in the Cheder that he had all 4 sides.
When you learn this Gemara, this is the Parish.
You have to learn, okay.
A person has to have a certain amount of privacy.
Yes.
If you ever visited Chaim Kanievsky, it's impossible.
Yeah.
He had 1,000 people just going through. He had one little room.
That's right. Right. That's it. The whole world came.
No privacy.
The whole world came. Yeah. He was.
But he was a yachid.
Shmuel was saying.
If you're saying not to have too many friends, don't have too much money because you might lose all of it. I don't know what to say. Don't have too much stuff. It's like OCD, PTSD, whatever. OCD.
Well, if you have too much money, you're going to have a lot of friends too. That's what you're saying, huh?
No, don't have too much money because you might lose all of it. If you're going to say don't have too much money.
It's not lose, but you're going to be fighting with people. He says they're going to be fighting. You're going to be fighting. Rashi says, it's interesting because the word friend,
You should say enemies.
Reya, comes from the word also Ra. And I believe that where's the first time it says friend in the Torah? In Parshas Vayeshev by Yehuda and Tamar, it says Yehuda had a friend. His name was
Adulami.
Adulami. I think it was Roya Adulami.
Adulami, yeah.
Right? And I think the Mepharshim say there why. I remember who it was, but somebody says the reason why a friend is called Reya is because a real friend will bring you the truth about what you need to fix. It's not. They're not just going to give you the good stuff. Right. A good friend accepts you as you are, but a great friend makes you better. A great friend makes you better. So that's what it's called. A great friend is called a Reya. Because they'll rebuke you, they'll tell you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to come, you got to be on time, isn't that? That's why, if you have a good friend, tell him to come to the daf. Bring in the truth. Tell him you got to come. You got to show him at night.
Where's Maurice?
Yeah. Anyways, weiter. Ela mishim dechsiv. So what else? Zaldekan, kurtaman, avdekan, sachsen, benafach, bekosei, loitzachi. Wow, all these names. Zaldekan means a person who has a weak beard. In other words, the hairs on his beard is few. He has a very few. He's a strangly beard. Kurtaman. He's a chacham. You should know he's a chacham and a charif. I guess he's always plucking his beard. He's just thinking. Abdekan. Somebody who has a lot of sires. His beard is full. Sachsachan. He's a shoita. To nafach bekase. Somebody who drinks beer. Loy tzache.
It says it blows away the froth in his mug of beer.
It blows the froth on the mug of his beer, on the beer. Like tzach, he's not thirsty. If he's thirsty, he would have drank it right away. So Amar b'may echol lachma sav minei. Somebody who says, "What should I dip my bread in?" Lachma sav minei, take away the bread because it means he's not hungry. He's like thinking of what dip to use. That means he's not really hungry. Man de islam abarta bedikne. And if somebody's beard is split into two, he has a split beard. You should know that he's a cunning guy. Yeah. And just make sure you don't do business with that guy. Yeah.
Split, right.
No. Fakert, it's Ben Sira. That's why you don't learn it. Because it's not true. This is what it is, Ben Sira. This is the reason why you don't learn, because the pieces of advice over here are off. What did the rabbi say?
הוא אמר שהתורה משנה את המידות של האדם.
Okay. So, but over here, this is the maskon of the Gemara of why you should not learn Ben Sira, because these pieces of advice are dvarim b'telim.
You know, R Gold, back then everybody had a beard.
Nebuchadnezzar was a big busha, and his beard was burned out. Because that represented manhood.
Sanhedrin or Sanhedrin? Sanhedrin, the Gemara says.
Sanhedrin.
The Gemara said earlier that Hashem, his beard caught on fire. Yeah. Because it removed his whole.
It removed his whole man. It was a big
masculinity, right. It was very masculine to have a beard in the olden days. Yeah, that was the style. Still is. True. It's true. Yeah, nothing changed.
Only
nature didn't change.
Hollywood, they have to shave the beard.
Yeah. You know, the Satmar Rebbe once said to a guy who came to America, I don't know if I should say this, Satmar Rebbe Reb Yoelish was very sharp. So, from Europe, there was a Chassidish Yid, and, he came to America, and I guess the grandfather who he knew passed away in the Holocaust, but his grandkid survived. Grandfather was a Chassidish Yid, and he started shaving his beard. So he comes into the Rebbe after the war, and no beard. The Rebbe says, I remember your grandparents. You look just like your grandmother. Fine. Oh yeah, but the truth is, the beard is a big deal. Amr Rav Yosef, Mila Mal Yosef the Izbe. You know what somebody asked Rav Chaim Kanievsky, something a shaila about, we should shave before Shabbos, L'Kovet Shabbos, whether taking a haircut is a mitzvah L'Kovet Shabbos. So he wanted to know if shaving is included in the mitzvah of taking a haircut L'Kovet Shabbos, Erev Shabbos. So Rav Chaim Kanievsky writes him back. He only wrote back, mamish, 2-3 words. He writes him back. He says, shave L'Kovet Shabbos, Achar Shabbos. After Shabbos. Amar Rav Yosef, Mili Mal Yosef the Izvei, Darshin Elohim. There are some good stuff in Ben Sira, and if you find a good memra, Avadi, you're allowed to teach it Barabin. Lamashal. Isha Toiva, Matana Toiva. A good wife is a good gift. B'cheik Yirei L'kim Tanas. And Hashem is going to give a good wife. In B'cheik Yirei L'kim. Isha Ra'at Tzira'as L'bala. Is Mamash Tziras. Maite Kante? What can he do? Yigarshenu B'beisiv Yisrapa Mitzirate. Okay. Isha Yofa Ashrei Bala Mispar Yom of Kiflayim. His days are doubled from simcha, that he's satisfied with a beautiful wife. So the Gemara here says, Isha Toiva Matana Toivas. I saw the Ben Yoda, he says an amazing, this is Alpida Rizal. He says sometimes a woman, Isha Toiva here means a woman who be'etzem, her soul, completed her mission in the world in a previous Gogol. Okay, and she is good to go, right? Two people are married, Darizal. Ben Yoda quotes Darizal. 2 people are married, and the woman completes her mission. She's a good wife in a previous Gilgal. The man does a little here and there. He messes up, and he has to come back.
She has to
So-
come back before everything.
So says the Arizal, Isha Toiva, a woman who's Toiva, she's already complete. Her soul is Toiva. It's good. Still, Matana Toiva, Hashem will send that woman back in the next Gilgal as a gift to the husband. But on condition that Avada, the husband, there'll be a Yirei Shamayim, right? And obviously it's Bechira, but Hashem knows the future, that he's going to be a Yirei Shamayim, so this woman doesn't mess up in the second Gilgal if she's only coming for the Toiva of her husband. This is Alpid Arizal, again, this is Kabbalah. Hala Menachem Eishes Chein, says the Gemara, Ben Sira said, don't look at beautiful women. Why not? Pentilochet ben Tzedasa, because you're liable to get trapped in the trap of the Yetzer Hara, in the web, yeah? Interesting, we call it the web. In the web of the Yetzer Hara. Altat etzel bala limsoich imo yain v'shecher. And don't invite them for a Suda on Shabbos. She's a beautiful woman. You pour her husband some wine at the Suda. Ki betoyer isha yafa, because of beautiful women. Rabim hushchasu va'atzumim kol haragel. So many people messed up in this world because they looked at beautiful women and they got trapped in the web of the Yetzer Hara va'atzumim kol haragel, and they lost their olam haba. They went into Gehenna. Rabim oyapitzei roichel, says the Gemara. Tremendous. Wounded are those roichlim. Roichlim are the peddlers. Why are they wounded?
They look at women.
Because they knock on people's door, yeah, and they're selling merchandise to the women. The men are not home. The women are home. They open up. There's like a vacuum cleaner. There's like some perfume. And what happens? They are magilim ledvar erva kenitatz mavik acheles kichliv molei oif kebetein molei mirma. Yeah. So the Kitzur HaMaisa also, what happens? Why are they beat up? Because when the husband comes home and he accuses and he suspects this man of niyuf with his wife, yeah, he grabs his gun.
That's a baseball.
Yeah, baseball bat. Menam rab matech beischa v'lei hakoil tavi beisecha. Don't bring everybody into your house. Rab mir dersh shlomecha. Be ohov on everybody, gali soit chelechad mel, but only reveal your secrets to one person. Don't keep the skeletons in the closet. Don't put it out for the world to see on social media. Right today, everybody's like a big deal. Everybody is bearing their soul to the entire world. I'm not sure what that's all about. Ben Sira says, "Al tegala soitcha only leechad me'elef in mishachebes cheicha, and even from your wife." Shmoy pischei picha. Don't tell your wife all your secrets. Again, we talked about the worst marriage advice. I need to make one shiur I have to give, the top 10 worst marriage advice I had received 18 years ago, okay, before that even, that people give. One of them I told you is, don't go to sleep angry. We spoke about this. Go to sleep angry. You wake up in a better mood the next day, you're fine. But you don't go to sleep angry, then you try to work it out, and you're tired, and she's tired, and then you get into a bigger fight. Don't do it. Go to sleep angry. Don't go to sleep. The worst marriage advice. Another marriage advice that's no good. And Ben Sira is right. Don't tell your spouse all of your secrets. Don't tell your spouse all your secrets. People think the date, got to tell the entire past. I want to come clean. Don't come clean. Don't come clean. You have a past, you have a history, keep it quiet, keep it in the closet. You don't have to come clean because obviously you want your spouse to have some level of respect. And if she finds out, whatever, it doesn't matter, then you go weiter. But you don't have to tell her.
I got one piece of really good marriage advice.
Yeah.
Put the seat down.
Yeah, we'll put this on pause.
Now that we're on the Indian.
Now that we're on the Indian, we have a lot more. Al teitzar tzara smachar ki lo teid, not for Daf Yomi shiur, but a different time. Al teitzar tzara smachar ki lo teid ma'yelad yoim. Don't worry about tomorrow. You know why? Because you don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. Yeah, it's ugly. Shema machar einenu. Maybe you're not here tomorrow. You're mitzvah, you're worried in a world that doesn't belong to you. Tomorrow, the world is not yours. So you're worried, you're anxious. Good pieces of advice. Ben Sira is mamish. What do you got?
It says, the second part of this is portion, it says, Korban Hashem, it doesn't say Hashem Korban. Why does it say Hashem Korban? Because maybe after he says Will Hashem, he'll drop, and he won't be able to fulfill his nether.
Wow.
So that's what he says.
That's exactly right. Korban Lashem, because Lashem, and he drops dead, that he's not going to complete a sentence. He's Moitzi Shem Shamayim Levatala. That's exactly right. Unbelievable. Beautiful. Beautiful. Mamash Azoy. Very appropriate. Yeah.
הדואג למה יאכל מחר, מקטני המנה הוא.
Yes.
מה זאת אומרת?
מחר זה מחר, מחר זה new day. We don't know. Yeah. You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow.
אם הוא דואג מה הוא יאכל מחר, למה זה נקרא קטני המנה? למה? הוא מאמין, הוא דואג בדברים קטנים על אוכל, אבל הוא לא דואג, הוא יתעורר מחר, דברים גדולים. If he's going to be alive tomorrow, he doesn't, he's for sure.
Daddy is confident.
For sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure waking up. These are big things, you know.
Unbelievable. Says the Gemara Vayter, gorgeous. Kol yemei oni roim. The days of a poor man are roim, are bad. Ben si roimer. Shloima Melech says yemei, just the days. Ben si was afleilas. B'shval gagim gagav roim harim karmoi. Why? Because a poor person has to build his house lower down, and he can't afford to build the roof high up because he can't afford too many bricks for the.
He's at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
He's almost at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, he can't raise his walls either because he doesn't have enough money to raise his walls, so he has a lower gag, and everybody's memtar gagim legaga, everybody's rainwater falls on his rooftop, and it doesn't let him sleep at night. And he has to have his vineyard all the way on top of the mountain, which is not so great because it's cheaper real estate over there. And what happens is when he's mezabel, when he fertilizes, it blows away, the wind blows away, and everybody else benefits from the fertilizer that he puts on his field because he's on top of the mountain. So anyway, he doesn't have kol yemei ani roim. Amr b'zeh Rab Maidach Siv Kol Min Roim, another drasha from Rav Elu Bali Talmud. Those who learn Gemara. People who learn Gemara are mamish, they never have peace. Yeah, they're bothered by a kasha, a Reb Chaim, a Toisvus, a this. Kol yemei ani roim. Huh? Yeah. So, but what does that? What does it say? V'toivlev mishte tamid. Yeah, you shouldn't learn Gemara. So what are we here for, huh? V'toivlev mishte tamid elu bala Mishnah. People learn Mishnayos, they got it easy. Why? Mishnayos is easy. It's simple. It's straightforward. You learn, you remember. It's good. Rava Amar Ipcha. Rava, who is the more the Shmaitz of the Gemara, Rava says no. It's the other way around. If you say, who is Kol Yemei Ani Roim, that's who learns Mishnayos. Why? Because he never understands the reasons behind the halachas of the Mishnah. He just learns superficially the statements of the Mishnayos without understanding it. So he is Roim. But the person is Tovlev Mishnah Tamid, somebody who is in the Gemara and he understands it well, he is B'Simcha. And therefore, that's Tovlev Mishnah. Hai do Rav Mishashayim Shnei Rav Ma'id Chsiv Masiyah Avodim Yotzeh Dem Elabal Mishnah Bekei Yitzim Yisachim Bam Elabal Talmud. Chino Omer Kol Mein Rav Zeh Mish Yesh Le'isha Ra. Who is a guy who all of his days are bad? A person has a bad wife. Somebody's OCD, everything bothers him. He never has peace of mind. Somebody who is easily appeased, yeah, he's low maintenance, he doesn't need a lot. Somebody who is very emotional. Person who's emotional, he gets emotional about everything and everyone. He gets triggered everything. It's Rachmani. Rachmani means he's got a lot of
too much emotion. He has too much Y in him.
No.
He has too much of the chromosome Y in him.
too much of the chromosome.
Chromosome Y.
What are you looking for?
That's true.
X, no,
whatever it is. Whatever the.
X. The female is X, no?
Rabbi Yochanan Mekoyim and Roim.
Too much of the chromosome X.
Toivlei Mishta Tamid.
Rahman is Yoisim Medar.
אנחנו too much of the chromosome, you know.
Somebody has got thick skin. Anyway, you gotta have thick skin. And one more. Somebody who is patient, somebody has daita rechava. That's also from Shtieble. Levi called men roim. Shabbos and Yontiv. Why is a poor person raw in Shabbos and Yontiv? He has food. Then the community has to support him. A person who changes his diet even once a week, and the whole week he doesn't have food, and Shabbos and Yontiv all of a sudden he eats a good meal. Also, he has a stomach ache. So he has a stomach ache.
It's more than that.
Yep.
Only during the week has a very bad diet because he has very little.
Yes.
Shabbos he gets invited.
Yes.
Out,
And he has a lot.
So he goes from a very poor diet to a very heavy duty diet. So that's the shiur vest.
And that's not healthy.
Because he goes from one extreme to another.
Beautiful.
This is Shmuel who's a doctor. So
Oh. Very good. Thank you, doctor.
I know that.
Thank you, doctor.
It still stands.
Okay, very good.